Hey there, good evening, pirates. Welcome to TFC Live Season 2, Episode 39. So this is the BP Weekly Update, and it's also the player review for the previous raid. I'll just say hello quickly to the admins. Hello, Ren. How are you, mate?
Hey, doing well. How's everyone?
Yeah, ecstatic, mate. And Brian, how are you, mate?
I can do this on a Tuesday now. Hooray, they didn't postpone the update.
Yeah, for a change, I know.
Finally.
At last. Yeah, so this is the first time I think we've had an update on a Tuesday in so long. I can't remember the last time we had an update on a Tuesday. A long time. Yeah, I totally agree with you. So good evening all in chat. Wayne's in chat. I'm not sure why he's not on the show, but he should be, unless he's almost falling asleep. Ford's in chat as well, and I know somewhere kicking around is Rue as well. Yeah, she's in there as well. So there we go. So we've got 3 people in the chat having a look at all the questions, and welcome everybody. There is a considerable amount of slides tonight. It seemed like a really small update, but when you actually got into it, there was a plethora of stuff. So we're going to crack straight on with the slides, and we'll have a quick look. So lock it onto me. Everybody should be able to see that, hopefully. So this is splash screen. Okay, yeah, players questionnaire and the weekly update. So we'll make a start, shall we? So that's the content for this week. So we've got the raid review from the player's perspective, okay. Then there's the 3 TLCs, Bounty 2, okay. Then Huggy, we'll talk about a little bit about Huggy, okay. And then bug fixes and tuning, which is not in the release, but it's definitely something that Ren has mentioned that's definitely come back, which we need to discuss quickly. Right. Okay, so quickly on the questionnaire that was sent out and produced by Andrew, obviously on the TFC website, we had about 780, approximately 790 returns. Thank you very much, everybody. And these are the questions that we were asking, and these are the sort of returns we've got. So here's the first stat then. So if you participated in the raid, did you get what you wanted? 2/3 did, okay. 1/3 didn't. So for one reason or another, they didn't get their intended points. Now, that could be for several reasons, obviously, and I think probably the 106 is probably half of the reason, but we'll see. Next one then, did you actually enjoy the September Steel Curtain event? It's not as unbalanced as I thought it would be, considering the first answer to the first question. So I thought with the 106 turning up like that, I thought a lot of people would have got pretty anti, but it didn't end up being quite so bad as I was expecting. So although it's not balanced, it's not as bad as I thought. Ren, what do you think? On par as you expected?
Well, it's funny because whenever those questions are asked, my answer is always no. And the main reason my answer is no, it's because I don't care if it's a 4 or 6 day long raid. It may be fun in the first day, like it was. I didn't have a problem in the first day. It was cool to figure out the new target. I was fortunate enough to have a complete fleet of Skyfire, so it wasn't hard to beat it. But after a few days hitting the same 2 targets over and over and over, especially with the crazy points requirement to get the goodies, it gets boring, mind-numbing after a few days. And that's why I usually say no, I didn't have fun. I had fun the first day.
So it's basically ever decreasing circles, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you get a big bubble of enjoyment to start with, and it just deflates like a helium balloon. Okay, good. Right. Well, not good, but obviously that's a good answer.
That's what it is. I mean, I always go back to those raid cycles where we had 50 unique targets. Those were the best.
They were, yeah. I must admit, I enjoyed those as well. That was
I suppose it costs a lot more for them to do 50 unique targets, but from a customer/player perspective, I would much rather have a whole bunch of different targets to hit.
Yeah. No, I agree. But that was yeah. No, I understand. And this one, obviously, next question then. So what were you hitting, basically? So clearly, people were mostly hitting. Well, but in fact, that's not quite true. So what's the highest stat there is people are hitting the T7, both of them, using both targets. But actually, if you look at the comparison of all the other targets pushed together, they actually weren't. A lot of them were doing, the bulk of the majority of people were actually doing the tier 5, tier 6s, and and actually the blitz targets. So not so many people did the combined targets in total amount than actually they're outranked by all the others. I think it's about
I'm
5 or 6.
surprised at the number of people doing the Blitz 89. I wonder if they were actually just hitting the target for the 1 million points, especially in the last day when it became easier, or were they actually hitting once and blitzing, like coining the Blitz feature?
Well, like I said, that's what I did. Hit one target, blitzed it, and finished in 6 minutes. Raid done.
You filthy coiner.
I had no time. It was over in 6 minutes, finished. I'm not spending the whole week doing this. No way. Could be joking. Okay. And then there's the ranking. So the ranking's quite interesting. So although it's a bit of a bum question, because obviously if you're using older fleets, you'd like to think that you had them ranked anyway. And those that came from Kickside, those that bought the Apollo fleet, which comes up in a minute, is quite interesting. They came at a pretty good rank anyway. So. And they were available last raid, so you should be able to finish them off as well in the middle of the VXP weekend previously. So, but yeah, most people had them scaled, so not too bad, or at least up to 66%. Next one then, the 106, considerably harder. Yes, it was. Okay, it's almost a 4-to-1 ratio there, isn't it? Or almost a 5-to-1 ratio, in fact. So yeah, the 106 was a bit of a bum steer. Did you go near that thing, Brian, at all?
Yeah. I was hitting it as much as I could because I had Skyflyers. I built them mostly with tokens, and I had the lead flag, which was a conscious choice to take away from doing other things I might want, like PvP builds, or just doing a few tweaks and other stuff to build all that. So it was worth it, sort of.
Yeah, sort of. I just want to say that we'll just look onto it. Ren's got a nice new chair. He's showing it off, all right, and so he's only bought that this week. So he's not only moved to a new house, he's bought himself a new game station, that sort of stuff. So that's his new chair. I hate to think how much it cost him, but there we go. Anyway, let's move on along. So that was a bit of a tangent, but things he's there. He'll come back and go, what are you talking about? Right, so what fleets were you using in the 106? So was it Skyfires, Phoenixes, or both, and that sort of stuff? So it's basically, interestingly, it's one or the other. Not that many people had both, to be honest. Well, that's the partial fleets ones. I've only got one built here or two of that built there, sort of stuff. And some people are actually trying other stuff as well. It's interesting. But yeah. So actually, someone just said in chat that the Apollo fleet came sculled. Did it come sculled last month as well? I thought it came at 66%, but I might be wrong. Was the offer this time? Was it fully sculled up fleet? Was it?
I don't know. I don't see those.
I don't know.
No. Okay. Well, I'm sure chat will catch up in a minute. But right. So there we go. That's obviously the 106. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, really, to be honest. But of the both people, it's considerably lower because look, there's 91 had both, and actually, if you put the other two together, you're talking 500. So. In fact, yeah. So Robert in chat saying, yeah, he got it this time round, and it was sculled when he got it. So it was a better deal this time than it was last time. And then basically go on to what sort of were you hitting with, and that's the sort of general thing. So fully Phoenix, the Phoenix was the number one ships basically to use, probably because they came out first and they were easier to build and manage. Then obviously it comes down to a bit of a mix. But having both fleets is not obviously not that many people, and I'm not surprised, to be honest. Skyfires obviously came out.
I think people are being smart. Like you get the fleet that comes out first, where you have more time to build, and you commit to it, and you finish the fleet. Right? Otherwise, people have done what? Have 2-3 half-built Phoenixes, stop it, and then build Skyfires, and
It becomes half-assed fleet.
Kickside is now, like, for the second cycle in a row, releasing the second hull with a bunch of tokens. Like they did Skyfire, there were tons of tokens if you could do all levels of the TLC. And I think now for the Hunter is the same. Although now there's a freaking chest there with up to 4 days of tokens, which is...
Oh, yeah, we'll come to that in a minute, yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, but that's just
cack.
Yeah, and also the reason I'm sure that people were using the Phoenix fleet was because they were told by Kickstarter that this would be the best performing fleet throughout the S-set targets throughout the entire raid cycle, and that just wasn't the case. But
it wasn't, right? A month,
if you're
two,
really
it's
good
what?
at driving.
No, I mean for the second month in the raid against the 103, the Phoenixes were by far better than the Skyfires.
Yeah, but in the 106,
Then
Phoenixes weren't necessarily better unless you were a really good driver. They
Yeah.
said for all
well,
time, and that wasn't the
whether you were a
case.
good driver or not, you were basing on a law of averages of actually getting a stun, which is something you shouldn't rely on, to be honest. So, you know, but we ended up in our alliance just simply helping each other out massively, in fact, particularly in the 106s. Those that had Skyfires were very busy come the last couple of days. But there we go. Okay, so and then basically, how many hours did you do? Now, not so many turns. Obviously, not the same number of turns for all these things here, but on average, it seems to be around somewhere between sort of like, you know, well, more than 10 hours anyway. So 10 hours ish. But very few people sort of like 11 did 2 hours and gave up. No, well, let's say they're the blitzers, you know. But it's basically 10 hours and above. So and the above, you know, was so the remainder of people, by the way, from that 200, you know, so 800 odd people. Sorry, did about 800 people did the whole survey. Everybody else above those were well above 10 hours. So that would have thrown the stats right out. So we kept the lower ones in and got rid of the big one. And then the last one, then what we're using for the non-tiers. Now it's interesting that some people are using Skies and some people are using Phoenixes, and most of them, yet again, as Renan said, look, Phoenix was the lead ships. So a lot of people were actually just doing the tier 6 stuff, and because the repairs obviously were much cheaper.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially if you didn't get the flagships. I mean, Skyfires or Phoenixes without the flagship were very different fleets, a lot less capable. But they were capable of doing T6 if you didn't have the flagships, as long as they were somewhat well ranked.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. I mean, doing the 100 with a set of 4 Phoenixes with no flagship is not easy.
No.
Good. And that's it. Okay, so there we go. That's the review. And then we'll go on to this week's update. So first TLC, we've got the Hunter games. Okay, obviously this one, and well done last week as our spotter spotted that basically in the splash screen that came up in amongst all the other skirmish stuff was actually the Hunter blueprint, which is evident and clear now. So this TLC is already up and running and that sort of stuff. It runs right through till the 11th. It obviously gets you the new Hunter Mark 1. It gets you, there's 5 targets to start off with, which you can hit with Apollos. Then it goes on to the 2 final ones, and you'll need obviously something from the previous raid of a level that could have hit the S targets, Phoenixes and Skyfires. There's the prize packs, basically. It goes all the way through. And as Ren said, the annoying bit is in prize pack 3 and prize pack 4, there are chests. Now, we all know that chests give you a random prize, but I think in this sort of TLC, in something that's quite important going forward for a raid, I don't think randomness was really what we were looking for.
Well, no, I mean, you put in the same effort. I mean, each one of us does the TLC. I think Brian said that, and we put in the same effort, but somebody's going to get 4 days and somebody's going to get 1 day.
I didn't say that, but it's correct. I'm trying to see who did say it. But yeah, it's
maybe George.
It's
you two look alike.
yeah, clearly. It's really upsetting. Yeah, because with the normal chests, you get uranium, base parts, maybe little 1-hour tokens, things that are either trivial or that you can go out and get relatively easily. You can go out and get base parts. You can go out and get uranium. The 1-hour tokens, okay, sure. But these are entire days of build on ships that we've already seen have a much longer build time, such that we need these tokens to be able to complete them in a reasonable fashion, even by the 2nd month of the raid. So when we can put forth all our time and all our tokens and all our effort and still have it not be good enough, not necessarily because we didn't spend enough money, because at least then it would be at least on some sense fair, but because RNG screwed you, pay $15 more because you got 1 day of build and that other guy got 4. So he's 3 days up on you, which is about $15 US. That's just unnecessary and infuriating. They've already been tightening the screws with the difficulty of the VXP target, with the build time on the Fangtooth in general, and here's another screw that they're tightening. It's unnecessary. We're being bled dry for what?
Yeah, Yeah, so unlike, you drop daily chests and that sort of stuff, and those are, especially like when we did the base one. I know we can't at the moment because it's been stopped because of portals, but those are like, oh, I don't mind having a go crack at that, and let's see what I get. Oh, I'll keep that one, that's good, or I'll just use it up because it's, it doesn't really matter. You can roll through and that sort of stuff. This is a little bit different. This is in preparation for a next raid. So I think personally, Price Pack 3 and Price Pack 4, I think they got that wrong, personally. That's my gut feeling. Or maybe the wording. It should have been, you'll at least get 2, and then a lucky 10% will get a third one, buck sheet. I don't know. It doesn't really help, I suppose. But not sorry. Right, anyway, so here we go. Hunter Games.
Can you go back one, Mark, please?
Yeah, of course you can. Sorry, yeah, go on.
Just quickly, I wanted to call attention to something that's new, at least as far as I remember. Mastery prize, you can run it 4 times. Okay. So, hey, George.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Jimmy.
So the mastery prize can be done 4 times, and you can get 4 C1 CTs, which is good. I mean, it's probably for many people maybe easier to do this than scoring 10 million points in raid for each one of them. So
that's 40 million, yeah.
Don't overlook that. I mean, if you have your Skyfire fleet, and it's worth it, I think, completing the mastery prize all 4 times. And also, what's new to me is the first time I see class build tokens for skirmish, for something that's non-conqueror or defender, not PvP.
That was good to see, wasn't it? It's across the whole class. Yeah.
Yeah. What I really like about that is you can either use them, even if you win the Hunter now, but let's say you're already committed to the Fangtooth, you can use them on the Fangtooth. You can have 4 days of build tokens and 4 times 6,000 VXP tokens. For your Fangtooth if you want to complete them. Or if you're not doing the Fangtooth, then of course use them here on the Hunter you got on Price Pack 1. I like that flexibility. That's something I like to commend Kicks for. I mean, I didn't like the chest randomness where somebody may get 1, somebody may get 4 tokens, but I really like the class tokens that we can use for either or, whichever ship we are building.
So not only the class build, but also the class VXP.
Yeah.
It's really good, isn't it? I like that. I do like, I have to say. You can stack 4 of each of those there. And there's the nice thing about this one here. So I've highlighted, obviously, where it says the first 5 targets can be done with Apollos. So I take it, I mean, I haven't done this myself yet, so I'll have to be corrected if not. But looking at it going backwards, there's obviously 7 in number 4, 6 targets in 3, and then it goes sort of like 5 and then 4. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, and people who completed, I think Ford, one of the TFC monitors, everybody knows Ford, he completed Price Pack 1 and said it was instant repair on map.
Okay, that's good. So, sorry, mate, yeah. So I was just thinking, so 1 and 2 will get you, obviously, that will get you through with Apollos, that'll be fine. And then it'll be Price Pack 3, the last target, which would be the 6th target then, where you're probably going to need Phoenixes or Skyfires or coin.
Yeah, I know Price Pack 2 can be done with just 4 Skyfires, but Apollo's actually performed better, I believe. Which is really kind of depressing, given the Skyfire is supposed to be the next step up, but,
Yes and no, right, George? I think Kickside, they when they test the targets, I mean, they said, okay, let's make Price Packs 1 and 2 be doable with Apollos. I bet they only tested that with Apollos and tuned for Apollos. And that's why something that's not Apollos may underperform.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is the Skyfire, though, is supposed to be the next step up, and without the flag, it isn't. And that's depressing, but,
And sorry, are you comparing Apollos with flag and Skyfires without flag?
Nope, 4 regular Apollos, 4 regular Skyfires.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so Wayne's saying the 6 is the 100 from the raid, and 7 is the 106 from the raid.
Oh, that's interesting. Haven't gotten that far yet.
Oh, and then someone else is saying 106 is not the 7 is not the 106.
Are we going to talk about these balls?
Say again, mate.
There's a chatter in our channel saying that the cheese balls are a lot more aggressive. Like, I don't know if they've been tuned, if it's just a random impression, but a few players already said have been hit by the cheese balls coming from the buildings.
All right.
I don't know if they've been tweaked to bypass gales. I don't know if they're hitting faster. I really don't have any hard fact other than a few players saying, wow, I did the whole raid and wasn't hit by those cheese balls once, and now they're getting me all the time.
Okay. So basically we're saying now that the tier 7, sorry, the run 7 has got a Rudolph in it, but it may not be exactly the same as the 103. So, you know, you got a hint. Go in and peek it anyway, even if you don't want to do it straight away.
I'll have a video out tonight. I mean, after the show, I'm going to do the hunter and
oh, that's all right. Well, I'll do it later on then. So I'll watch your videos.
Yeah. So in chat they said number 7 has a Rudolph in it, but it's not either the 103 or the 106.
No,
so
but then again, so did the Blitz, didn't it, as well? The 89 had one.
A new beast.
Anyway, we'll move on because we've got a lot of slides.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so there's the hunter. There's the build time. Okay, and so for a blank, it's fine, but don't forget it holds a lot of weapons and they take a while to build. Okay, so just bear that in mind. The res requirement isn't too bad. It's quite decent. Now, clearly, this is the new version of the Blitzing Hold for this skirmish type, so it's replacing Tideseeker. And a lot of people are going, oh, but it's not really any better than the Tideseeker and that sort of stuff. But it's got some key components in its makeup that do make it different altogether. And the two things that I've noticed, well, Ren's noticed mostly, is deflection and the fact that it's unreactive as well.
Yeah, we don't know how unreactive.
Fully unreactive, apparently. George,
is it fully unreactive? It just says unreactive. We don't know until we test it.
I heard it's fully unreactive. I don't know. I haven't tested myself.
Okay, that would be a huge thing.
Yeah, that would make the difference because everything else seems to get. I mean, I tried. You know, I did that preview, and I tried my Tideseekers in there, putting on some sexy torpedoes. Yeah, it didn't make any difference. They got stunned, and I had full agility 4 and that sort of stuff. No, they got stunned. They didn't budge. I couldn't do anything at all.
The other difference that people are overlooking, I mean, you've got to do the math. And somebody already commented that on the page, and that person was bang on. You can't just look at the stat block and say, oh, defense, explosive defense is only 30%. And the Tideseeker, I think, starts at 80 or 85.
Stack, though.
Right? But the thing is, this one starts at 30% defense. And from the beginning of the battle, each ship on the fleet adds another 30%. So let's say, assuming the flagship is going to have the same fuel, so it's 5 times 30% on top of whatever's left, you know, from the beginning. And that's going to, right?
What's the number?
It ends up being like 86-ish%.
There you go.
I actually did that math. So with all 5, 86% to where it starts.
Yeah, so it starts with the same initial value of the Tideseekers, right?
Before armor.
Yeah, before armor, before any sort of buff, specials, or I'm just saying a naked Tideseeker blueprint has like 80-85%. This one, you add up to 5 auras plus the base 30%, you get to 80-something%, about the same.
In a multiplicative effect, yeah.
Then the difference is this guy will have 1,000 deflection, and the Tideseeker has 0. The other thing is the Tideseeker gets higher, gets to 97, 99% defense, only after you build Bloodthirst, which requires you to kill 5 enemies. In these new targets, you won't be alive to kill the 5th enemy if you only start like with a fleet of Tideseekers, in the 100 at least.
Yeah, you get smashed before that at times. Yep, cool. Okay, so there you go. That's the hunter. Okay, it's quite interesting. Clearly, a flag will come out to follow it because obviously the duplicate aura is 5. And if the Tideseeker flag is anything to go by, it had something that boosted the remaining set as well. So you may have it. It may not. Okay, but it may have some extra buff to the other ones as well in its own special abilities.
The flagship will add something to it. Now, I have one thing that to me it's a very glaring design fault. I mean, read the description. Okay, second line of the description, first and second. It's a vicious anti-submarine hull. Well, no, it's not. It doesn't have thermal.
No, it has a little bit of sonar, doesn't it? And that's it. You can put sonar on it, but you can't do much else with it.
That's nothing. I mean, battle cruisers have more sonar than that, and they are 6 years old.
Maybe the flag will come with a big aura. You never know.
Maybe the flag will have a cavitator like the old flag had. But I'm just saying, these 4 regular guys, they will be good for the raid because you don't need thermal in the raid, but they are not anti-submarine hulls that you could use in any other application past the raid targets.
Very, very similar to the Fangtooth. I did say be cautious building your Fangtooth because you build them specifically to the raid, you won't do so well in the rest of the game. Which is why a lot of people are going, oh, don't worry about putting on certain specials because you don't need in the raid. You're right, but then don't go use them anywhere else in the game because you'll get seen or smashed. But anyway, that's. So here's one of the specials. So this is obviously the payload. So this is obviously in Prize Pack 3, and this is the one that will allow you to get to the next TLC, which we'll talk about in a minute. So yeah, there you go. There's the stats for it. I just thought I'd show you it. It's dead exciting, isn't it? Not really, to be honest, but critical chance 20%, obviously, and critical damage 100%. I like that. So
yeah, that's interesting.
That's a big and lightweight as well, 10%. That's good. So that's that one. Yeah, go on, Ron, sorry.
Fire charge for these. It's sealed fire charge for these.
Yeah, it's the same sort of thing. Yeah. And here's the houndstooth. I quite like this depth charge. I can see it being used in base defense as well. Obviously concussive, 93 range, which is quite decent, isn't it? That sort of stuff. I mean, it's got building and wall damage, but in this instance, it doesn't really matter because there are no buildings and walls to worry about in the raid itself because it's skirmish. But it's there anyway. Damage is huge, and there's no split between above the water and below the water sort of stuff. So
now here's a crazy idea. I mean, I'm building the new ships, but I have my Tide Seekers sitting around. And the Tide Seekers, they have 400% extra concussive damage. I'm thinking I have some tokens laying around. I might put some of these depth charges in my Tide Seekers to have that 400% buff on that base value. Should be interesting.
Just for the fun of going and having a go at playing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. I don't know if they're better than Calamity Scatters, but
it's
they're
higher.
probably going to be better for me.
Like the concussive damage in the Calamity is in the 4,000s.
Yeah, but you get the multi-shot thing up, and it's actually more like.
Well, the other thing about the hull as well, there's no range.
Yeah, true. If you add a multi-shot special plus 2, whatever. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, okay. So this takes us on nicely then to the hidden depth TLC. I like that picture. So I got that one from Rampage. He sent me that on direct. So it looks quite funky. You can see obviously the dread effect above the water and that sort of stuff. And obviously this is the flagship, the Phantom Fangtooth, hanging around underneath doing its own thing.
It looks like there's moss on that thing. It's probably actually target angles, but it looks like moss.
I think it's supposed to be like a green aura of some description. Maybe I don't know, engine kit. No, I don't know, whatever. Look, it looks funky. That'll do. So this TLC is quite interesting because, like I said, you've got to have got to the PBX, sorry, to probably commence with it. But apart from one run, which sounds like it's going to be the 100, you should be able to manage. But the thing is, obviously, you can't get anyone to help you. You've got to do it yourself. But this one has a lot of stuff in it. So you can get shards for this particular hull. And if you complete the whole campaign, you'll get enough shards. It's 10. You can also get some more skirmisher build tokens as well. You can get another 5 charged C1 CT charged as well, armors, which is nice. And then you get a whole plethora of build tokens and VXP and that sort of stuff. So interesting that you get to, if you haven't ranked up your Fangtooths, like I say, you get 4 times 1,000 Fangtooth VXP, but you actually get 2 times, in the last one, 2 times 25,000, which we're thinking from the 59k, that gets you roughly about 71% ranked on your flag if you finish this. So you would be able to get this through into the raid and actually be able to use it without having to worry about too much about it being, having no rank on it whatsoever and the turn speed issues. So it'll be close anyway. Happy to move on?
Yep.
Good.
One thing I've been thinking about that one is just if they only make this flagship available through shards, and if they start to shards, I believe that's how it's going to go. They can't just give the blueprint if they do shards. People who normally wouldn't be able to get the flagship in the last price pack because it's too hard, this time, think about it. If they keep offering this TLC every month, or in some cases, as they did recently, twice a month for the TLCs, even if you can only do the first and second price pack and whatnot, I mean, you just keep accumulating shards. It's going to take you longer, but at some point you get the flagship.
And
So this
probably
campaign says
3%.
previous skirmish as well, by the way. So people were just asking then. So it's you know, your tide seekers from previous, that sort of stuff. And I'm not seeing Hellwraiths do it at all. I was too busy doing slides tonight. But it's your previous skirmish fleets that are supposed to be able to do this sort of stuff. So how far you'll get through, I don't know. But no one could have built surely Fangtooths and had them fully built by now. So they'd be crazy if they said that the last one's going to be done.
But then why is this the new targets? These are the new targets. I'm looking right now at a video of a guy doing Prize Pack 1, and the very, very first target is the really old skirmish from last year with the cavitator mortars fired all around. But after that, they look like the new targets that are designed for the Fangtooth.
Great. That's clever, isn't it? And no one's
I believe that's cheeky.
Annoying, not clever, but
I think it's dumb, but hey ho.
Well, we got to see how much damage is in it too.
Yeah,
exactly. They might be tuned down like the first 2 prize packs with the other one. So.
All right. Okay. Well, escalation. I might be doing this next month myself, then. But so, like I said, we're not going to hang around too much. But there's the statistics on it. There's no effect ship. So combat speed 20%, look projectile speed 25%, and turn speed 45%. But that's actually aura cap 1. Okay. Effects all apply to all the ships in the fleet, basically. So this one does have an effect, okay, which is unlike the Hellwraith flagship, which had no extra effects.
It's interesting that combat speed's only 20, but the turn speed's 40. What is it? 45?
Is that because of mag free, which we'll come to in a minute?
Well, that's gonna be a little mini rant right there.
Yeah, I know. Anyway,
look at that build time. Look at that build time.
Yeah, but that's expected for a flagship. You know, I'm not saying it's right, but it doesn't mean you can only you can always just chuck 1 torp on it.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so yeah, just on a side note here on the builds for the flagships. I mean, the problem is they've made the flagships kind of almost like a requirement if you want to do top tier and stuff. But the thing is, the flagships of old used to be a generic buff, and that's why they had such long build times like 14, 15 days, is because you could bring it in with anything. Now we have flagships that are very, very specific. They're you know, with what their effects do, and yet we don't have a reduction in build times. That seems a little unbalanced to me.
Yeah.
So 20 days a whole, and this is 10 days more than the normal build.
Yeah.
So that's 110 days for this fleet, right?
Is that build with an officer?
That's with the.
I don't think so. Mine's a little shorter.
Is it? Okay. I've just got sent that, so I'm not sure. In fact, no, it's that Robin sent that, so that's not with an officer because she's got no friends.
Everyone friend Rue.
Okay. Sorry. So there you go. So that's it. Basically, that's what you get. Like I said, going back to that. Look, there's all the bits and bobs. I didn't bother putting too many slides on that one there, but you know, that's all the goodies you can get down the bottom through the different runs, and that's what you get at the end. You get that big ship there. So that's it. Okay, moving on then to Tech Up TLC, because there's a lot in this one here. So that's the splash screen that came up. There's the sort of like, you know, prize splash screen, also that sort of gold looking chest thing, and then you get a little hint as to what you're going to win. It comes up with it as well. Okay, so that one there was obviously the corrosive upgrade and that sort of stuff. So this one obviously is not going to last all that long, to be honest. So 26 to the 3rd, whereas the other ones seem to last considerably longer. But then again, they're raid specific, aren't they? So I suppose that makes sense. This is tier 6 tech. There's 9 of them available. You're not going to get the same thing twice. Go as far as you can, or go as far as you want until you've got the bit you wanted. But my advice is go as far as you can, personally. But you know,
yep. We've learned tech depth is very important in this game. Get all you can.
But I think it's a bit of a tease because, you know, yet again, you could get something really funky that you really wanted in your first 2 drops, and you've only got Apollos, and you're right ahead of yourself. Or the really nice stuff could be right at the very, very end, and you don't have Apollos. Or sorry, but you only have Apollos again, and you can't get it, but your mate did, and then actually his tech's worse than your tech.
Yeah.
The randomness there, it's again something I don't think should be in TLCs, unless they plan on keep running that and go by elimination. So it means, you know, I may not only do the first 3 prize packs this month, then next month I do them again and I'll get 3 that I didn't get the month before. That's okay. But if that's not something they'll keep running often, you're right. I mean, if Magnus 3 is something I really need and it's in the last price pack and I can complete it because it's the hardest one, but somebody got it in the first price pack, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah,
right?
It's funny that you actually said that, Ren, because in chat, Nick's trying for it and he hasn't gotten it yet, and Ford got it in prize pack 3.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, they're probably going to justify this to themselves over at the offices by saying, oh, yeah, well, this creates good moments. This creates the ability for the people that with Apollos to only do the first 3 and get a thing that they may want. And yes, that's true. But the other side of that coin is there are going to be people, just like you said, that see their friend get it in the first 3 runs and they can't get it, or they can only do 3 runs and they can't get the thing that they want. And mathematically, there's going to be more of that second. If all you can do is the first 3 runs, you're not favored to get that one piece of tech that you want. And
well, it's a 1 in 3 chance, isn't it?
Not quite, I don't think.
Oh yeah, I mean, 3 out of 9 is 1 in 3 chances.
Yeah, but independent trials, and it's drawing without replacement. Look, I'll do the math later, but I know it's not favored for the first 3 runs of a 9 run. So it comes out
circles, yeah, got you.
Yeah, it comes out negative EV. They're not actually doing what they're intending to do. They're making a few new players happy and a lot of new players pissed, whereas they could actually just tune it down and give the tech to the people to let them keep playing the game, but they don't. So,
yeah, I see your point, because it's 1 in 9 to start with, then it's 1 in 8, and then it's 1 in 7. It just
and you know, a lot. The other thing these guys gotta get is, I know a lot of games have random drops. Like a lot of games, you do campaigns and you do battles and you get chests and you get random drops. Many games have that, but the vast majority, actually all the games I'm thinking about right now that have those drops, they are accessories. They are like knives and skins and stuff like that that really don't change your power in the game. But here we're talking about very important components. Like I absolutely need that Magnus 3 to put that on my Fangtooth fleet, and if I'm not capable of doing all the 9 prize packs and I don't get it, I'm going to go with the suboptimal component now. I'm going to be pissed. And next month, if I do that again, if they run the TLC again, I'm going to have to win the one that was missing and then refit.
That's not a cheap upgrade.
A lot of people have built, like, I have hydro resistors on my things now.
Yep.
And now there's a Magnus Drive 3. So now what?
And then also a speed system upgrade as well. So do I forego the extra?
There's a lesson learned, I think. You know, it's just that we had the torpedo and the new special. So I was just building shells with the torpedoes at this point, just waiting to see what would come up, right? I did not expect a Magnus 3 or a Speed System 6. That totally caught me by surprise. I'm just saying, you know, unfortunately, you kind of got to hold back as much as you can to build things as close to the rate as you can without coining, you know, and then do the brand new components first, because apparently you'll never know.
I mean, the thing is, they had the hydro in the raid, right? A lot of people started to build them. We had a bunch of tokens. I mean, I got all 4 of mine out, and they all had hydro on them. And
what was the cost of the hydro? 2 million each?
Something like that. And I mean, you know, the thing is now that changes my entire build, because I was running Cat 3 with hydro. Well, now I have a much different build. I mean, it's yeah, I'm annoyed. I'm very annoyed.
Yeah.
On the bright side, the components themselves, the specials that are offered now, I like that they are not absolute revolutions over the old versions. They are small increments, and I kind of like that to reduce power creep. So if you look at Siege Battery 4, offers the same turret defense. It just offers at R15 93% building damage versus 75 from level 3.
But see, I think I have to disagree about the Magnus one, because it's a shorter build time, right? It has cloak that saves you a special slot. I mean,
Now it's yeah.
Well, again, the cloak is an increment, right? The cloak went from 60 to 75%. I think you hit the nail there. The new version builds faster and it's lighter. That's the big. I mean,
there is also no accuracy penalty.
Yeah.
Was the other one did?
Yeah.
The shorter build time is what pisses me off, even though I'm probably going to switch to it.
Right. I'll never be mad at shorter build times. I just think now they got to go back to the older version and make shorter than the new one. That's all.
If they adjusted the other one,
Yeah. Don't say you're mad at short build times, please.
So are we going for I want my cake and eat it? Yeah.
Let's go.
Go on. Let's move on. Okay. So here we go. This is stealth attack 5 then. I don't know if anybody's got it up in the game, but basically, so cloak time 40% and concussive damage 44%.
That's without retrofit, okay?
And that's flat out. That's basically as it is. 35% weight bonus though. That's quite a lot. But anybody actually is looking. I promise all the stats. You have to actually look in Huggies probably to have a little look.
41. Okay, so. Yeah, 41.
Even if you've got an R15 blank there, that'd be quite interesting to see if it even over the R15. What is it better than?
You get about 13% more concussive damage, but the cloak time is the same.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously on this hull, this would not be a sensible add, simply because you don't need cloak time.
Hellrace, though.
And that's a lot of weight.
But Hellrace, yeah, and 35% is a lot of weight. Particularly this torpedo, the current one is also very heavy. So yeah, so it's an awful lot of heaviness as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, so there you go. It's there. It's the next version up, and obviously I'm assuming these go straight into the retro lab. If you've already done R15, this one will go straight to R15 as well.
Confirmed.
Good. Okay. So it's a little fat boy, isn't it? This one, chubby weight there, 35% over and above. So just be cautious with that one.
Stop fat shaming the specials.
35, that's fat. Okay. What's next then? Okay, so
get him, George.
George's favorite. Okay, so look, there is no, as you said, there's no accuracy debuff on this one because the other one's obviously 5%, I think it is, for accuracy. This one's got nothing. Bonus combat speed, which is excellent already. Bear in mind, this isn't ranked up. So this will get us right up to about 111, 112% or something like that.
Yeah, it's the same combat speed as Mag 2.
If
and those living line.
Is this did this make it into the retro? Because if it is, that cloak efficiency is going to jump way up too.
Yeah, it will.
So it's going to be a very big difference in cloak efficiency.
Yeah, cloak efficiency is
75% at R15.
What?
75% cloak efficiency at R15.
So this screen is at R15 already?
Because that says it's at rank 1 here.
No.
These screens are R1.
The Magnus drive, when you retrofit, does not get a buff from cloak efficiency.
Oh, right. No, you're right. It doesn't.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's a buff on the speed. So mine at R15 has 111% bonus combat speed.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
And
it's the same.
92.9% map speed.
Okay, so this thing's going to go crazy. Cool.
But 75% cloak, which is a lot better than 60% from Mag 3. Don't get me wrong.
It's more than Cat 3.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean that's the thing is it bumps. I don't know. We're already seeing escalation stuff like 2 weeks before the raid. Right, and we haven't even had the first raid yet, and we're already refitting. I mean,
yeah, this goes back to the previous one, the Candiers came out, and then the previous one to that had all the different missiles.
Yeah, I mean, being
nuts.
Being an ass here, but I'm kind of laughing at people who just coin all their subs because okay, yeah, they can do some things now, but they're gonna have to repeat.
But even then,
I wouldn't laugh at them.
2 or 3 components.
Why are you gonna laugh at them? They pay for the game. I mean,
yeah, I'm not laughing at anybody because there's enough people leaving the game as it is.
No shit.
I mean, the engine is one of the first things a lot of people would put on.
Yeah.
Well, I did it just for VXP to get them to move out of the way of the mortar, rocket, whatever.
Yeah, so you can go and get some extra points by hitting us something, yeah.
And actually to make them not molasses on the map or in play, in battles, so.
Yeah, I don't mean, I fitted 1 torp and 1 engine, so, you know, not in the world, but...
By the way, I just check the stealth attack system that we're talking about. The cloak time bonus is the same on both version 4 we had before and version 5 release now.
Okay.
The total weight only goes up by 5%. The stealth attack 4 was plus 30, now it's plus 35. The big jump is in concussive damage. R15 stealth attack 4 gave 40%, and the new one gives 54.5%.
Okay, 54.5. Wow, that's good.
It's a jump.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Moving forward then. Here we go. Speed system flipping 6. Wow. Okay. Well, actually, look at that. So bonus combat speed there, 77.3%. And let's just nip back there. So that's also close, isn't it? No, combat speed there, 92. Blimey. No, it's a huge difference. Okay. Turn speed. Do you really need that much turn? I'm not sure if you do.
Not really.
That's a crazy amount of turn, isn't it? Okay, map speed, well, it's irrelevant, isn't it? Evade bonus, that's always a nice thing to have, but that's due to the turn speed, because that's the way it works.
148% at R15, Mark.
It's how much?
148.6% turn speed at R15.
Okay, so it might make your sloths actually work now.
That's speed system 5. That's equal to 5.
It's what 6 is giving here.
Interesting.
I have 5 and 6 at 15. They give the same turn speed. 6 gives you a little bit more combat speed to the tune of about 5%. And they evade too, which is nice.
Yeah, the evade's good because that does go up. I like that.
It goes up a little bit, right, from 15 to 18%.
Yeah, speed goes up a little bit. It's like a 2-point difference on my Skyfires.
I think total weight for 13% is quite decent. I quite like that.
Is that the same? Maybe like 1% more. It's 1% more, but still good.
I was expecting 15 or something like that. So for total weight increase, so it's better than I thought. And we all like a bit more thrust, don't we? It's it's a nice thing.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, battery 4. Okay, cloak time 55%, total weight 30%. It's another chubby one, but 55% as opposed to the standard one.
50%. So actually no, 50%. Nautilus Bat 3 R15. This at R15.
Isn't it 45 or something like that? Nautilus battery at standard.
It's 68.1. 68.1% on 4 at R15.
Okay.
So that's the thing.
So that'll help hell rates and that sort of stuff, won't it? So if you do want to keep your old subs, then that'd be a pretty good thing to stick on. If you've gone that way, you've got battery on it instead. That adds a little bit because they do pop up a little bit too quick. So that's not a bad one to have. It is a bit chubby though. Next one, so this is a contentious one as far as I'm concerned. Probably the most one that needs a little bit of math, to be honest. So I'm going to listen to Hefe's show tomorrow because he's bound to do this one with Brian. So this one is quite nice to have. It's got crazy amount of building damage and wall damage. Turret defense is 40%. That's interesting. Isn't the other one 50?
No, it's 50 at R50.
It'll get up to 50.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll get up. Okay, so you can retro to R50. But the thing is, the Battery X is the other one. I know it's not got the same amount of power. It's also got 18% extra explosive damage.
So that's 83.
Well, I think the battery is still, the Battery X is still better for explosive ships. You get the 50% without needing to retrofit. You only get 65% building damage versus 93% you get from this one at R15. But it's a lot lighter because it's something like 19% weapon weight penalty, not total weight. And it gives you 19 or 18% explosive. So
for Mort Chuckers,
it's still better.
For Mort Chuckers, the other one's still better. But for in general terms of all other things, this is, and 25% total weight. Is that horrendous, you think, for what you're getting?
What's the building damage at R15?
It's barely any more build time. It's a lot heavier, but it's the strongest in every circumstance if you can spare the weight.
Well, the next one I like as well.
Then Garrison Battery, and it's stronger than 3. Even Garrison Battery on explosive ships, it's stronger than that.
Is it the math?
18 and 65 is 83, and this is 93.
93 is a lot.
It's a lot, but it's really heavy.
Okay, so that's heavy, but then have a look at this one. So this is already at 133.
Yes. I want
the retro of that baby.
And these stats.
165.
Whoa.
165 is what you get it to, as opposed to the third version, which is 93.
So you're getting half as much again. That's a monster, isn't it?
I already see a bad combination using these two.
Yeah, I know exactly where I can put
it. Yeah, I'm talking about PvP. I'm not talking about PvE.
Yeah, PvP. Yeah, exactly.
Holy crap!
I might replace like high velocity round on my cannoneers with this because it's more damage.
Yeah. There's a lot of areas now where this is gonna. Most people have been ignoring siege targeting, but now I think this one's gonna bring it back in.
It used to always be one of my little secret go-tos, man. I used to love popping that on because it stacks with the other one. But these two together, holy crap!
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Oh, that's spicy. All right.
So those have been building those horrendous freaking bus fleets that are coming in, that sort of stuff. This is going to be nuts.
Now, the way they stack the building damage specials, at least on the display block, they multiply. So I remember before with Siege Battery 3 and Siege Targeting 3, you could get ships to 400% building damage. If I remember it right, this one with Siege Battery 4, could get certain ships that already have some built-in building damage, could get them past 1,000%.
That's crazy. I've got both George and I have got a certain fleet that we're like,
yeah. I know. And there's a couple more than just that one, but that's the first one that popped in my head because I was like,
there are a few where you can get their building damage and wall damage over 1,000% buff.
I wish I was a coiner like you, Mark. I'd have them out right now.
I've been doing slides. I haven't done any of this stuff yet, so
I'm gonna go look in like the old Reaver nonsense because that's the sort of stuff that has these kind of bonuses, I think.
But just think about it. There's just so much that you can. I can think of so many fleets that could almost come alive just using this special.
I'm actually thinking, one of the things I'm actually thinking of looking, like trying to run this in my head, I'm thinking of some old original tech that was blueprint tech that might be interesting to use now.
Anyway, it's more excitement. That's good. Okay. And then we move on to, this is interesting, the countermeasure loader 4.
Which has a description problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
No comments.
It is funny,
but it looks pretty good.
Turrets, apparently. which countermeasure 3, and quote me if I'm wrong, was on the ship.
Yes. And
it even says weapon weight 19%, power consumed.
The weapon weight.
Yeah, so ignore the word where it says turret, okay, and just assume that's ship, okay. And so a bit of quality control there, but it has been flagged up. Don't worry, they'll change it. So anti-missile and anti-mortar range then 62%, reloads at 20, and that sort of stuff. Radioactive reloads 20. Anyway, so there we go. You get a bit more. Weapon weight's not horrendous. I think the last one was like 15 or 17 or something like that. So.
Now I'm looking at the stat block. Maybe it's missing some stats, but where is the accuracy bonus for the countermeasure?
Yeah. It didn't show. I couldn't get it, mate. There is a bit down the bottom. It's there. It's further down. Have you got those stats? Have you, Brian?
Okay, 25 for the reloads. Range reload. 77 on the ranges and 35% on the accuracies at R15.
Right, okay.
So 77 and 35 versus, what was level 3? Level 3 was 62 and 35. So it's just a range increase.
Okay, so the accuracies have stayed the same. Do we know what the weight was of the old one?
The weight of the old one, weapon weight 10% versus what, 19 on this one?
Wow, this is 19.
You know what comes to mind?
Yeah, but you're fine. That's fine.
The Zalus comes to mind because now with the dock, people who are or upgrading or have upgraded their docks, the Zalus can go over 10,000 tons each. So that means you can max out their weight.
Mm-hmm.
And people who will maybe use all the Zalus tokens that are around have been offered, and the 2 new weapons, a weapon and special from FM, maybe try to do the Zalus kit to do tier 6 targets, tier 5 targets in raid, because that's an overlooked option, right? I mean, the Zalus has a built-in countermeasure, has dedicated countermeasure slots, has a lot of good buffs. This special is something I would certainly look at.
There's a few ships that got built-in countermeasure reload and range as well. You know, so some of them end up having further countermeasure ranges than actual firing ranges. You know.
Well, I use sometimes I use that special on ships without countermeasures just to get the reload.
Yes, because the percentage.
Yeah, I've used it a lot.
25%, 25%. That's so. I've done that as well. If you've got a spare slot, rather than a speed upgrade or a notional, you know, a 10% X, it's far better to do 25% reload. Absolutely, so totally agree with you. Okay, that's a good one. What else we got then? At long last, penetrative upgrades. I like this.
Wasn't that the only one missing?
It was one of the only ones missing.
There was
There was two.
one.
But one was a latter. But one came in later in the game. But of the early things, this was the one that's always been missing. Now, bear in mind, they said penetrative. It's not missile because not everything's a missile, but it's penetrative anyway. So, yeah, it's good. Nice. It's 4%. So it's like the same as all the others.
I just wanted to give a Captain Obvious tip here. Do not equip that special to Mudbloods.
Because?
Well, despite being missiles, they are corrosive.
They move into
penetrating damage.
But this one, however.
Aha!
This is the one you might want to put on. Because this one is a 10% boost for your corrosive, okay? And other things as well, you know, prides and that sort of stuff. And anything else.
Do you have prides? Well, have I got a deal for you?
Yeah, so that sort of stuff. So, you know, this one I can see being used quite a bit in various different places.
Talking about prides, has any alliance like just launched all their prides and moved them all together in the map just to have a pride parade?
Boo! Where are the tomatoes?
That was rubbish as a joke.
That was horrible.
So are you guys booing the joke or people who show up for Pride Parade? I hope it's the truth.
No
We're
comment.
booing you.
That's
No
horrible, horrible
I think I might have made a joke somewhere about a rainbow skin for the Pride, and how could they miss this obvious opportunity? But it's not there yet.
He's here every Tuesday. Da-dum.
Not anymore. We fired him.
Anyway,
as jokes go, that was rubbish, but funny.
Yeah, I'm drinking.
I was waiting for like a joke about they've all lost Prideful, now kill them.
Yeah.
Something.
No. Okay, moving on one more then. So Bounty 2 apparently is on its route, and it says there, look forward, because it's not this weekend, it's now next weekend.
yay! Keep on doing that every other weekend. Keep pushing it.
They may want to delay Bounty 2 by 10 more weeks. I wouldn't complain.
Yeah,
they might want to get
more
that
months.
portal thing.
6 months, 12 months. I don't really mind. I'm not. It's the only thing in the game that I'm not in a hurry to
The portal thing, the
first.
prideful thing. There's so many like PvP glitches that. Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, importante.
Not to mention, you know, some of those bases that we saw floating around today.
This can't come back in until they've guaranteed 100% fixed that portal issue. Because otherwise, it's going to
and Prideful
and the pride issue, yeah, as well. Because a lot of people are using prides, particularly 1 or 2 prides now, as with obviously concussive protection, as flagships now for going and doing base hitting a lot. You know.
Well, there's one other issue too that's floating around today that I would like them to correct as well, but
there's always issues in the game, mate. But this one particularly is yeah, push it back as far as you like. Just fix this goddamn portals. Apparently, they've mentioned in chat here that Prideful is now sorted. Does someone want to go and test out with their prides and let us know?
I think we will see it. We will believe it when we see it.
I can try tonight.
Yeah, try it tonight before you go to bed, mate, because there's a long fix if you get it wrong. Anyway, so there we go. That was the release.
Try tonight, see if your pride works.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that joke. That was rubbish. Right. Okay. And the other one, apparently. Ren, this is for you, mate. So apparently the players have already named it. Okay, then. Potential coin quest. You know, it's like when you don't get the full detail, so players inevitably fill it in with.
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, I really like calling it Huggies, the Huggies Yard. I think that's how we should call it, just because Hug is the man, right?
Chuck it in Huggies Yard, see what
I
happens.
also like the coin quest yard.
Yeah. I don't think it's ever going to get called the Conquest ever anyway. So you can call it what you like formally, but we're either going to call it Huggies Yard or the Coin Quest Yard. We'll see how it rolls out. If it isn't a Coin Quest, then we'll soon drop that one and we'll just call it Huggies Yard. But even not, we'll see where it goes. But I've already crossed out the name. I don't like the other one. It's irrelevant. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't exist.
Now, does anyone have any idea how are we going to have access to it? Because it did not come in the regular OP10 release.
Do you know what thing I really hate? I'd hate this to be a bounty prize.
You know, and here's my team.
Being PvP.
I don't use my tinfoil hat often, but here it goes. It's gonna be in bounty, and it's gonna be cheap, just to force people in bounty, so people join.
Encourage.
There's
that's
enough
crap.
of a population, so the event is fun for the big ones who can hit a bunch of people.
You know what? I think that tinfoil hat might not be a tinfoil hat there, Ren. I think it actually.
No, I have
a tinfoil hat picture out.
No, but that makes sense. The thing is, that makes complete logical sense, and it'll actually boost their numbers. So you know, when they look at it, they're like, "Oh, a lot of people, participated."
Mm-hmm.
It makes kick size sense. Makes kick size sense.
And now that would make it the first building that's a blueprint, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I can see it on the build menu in the game. It's there.
The problem is, if you don't do it, the problem is, it is in the build menu. You're right, but it doesn't mean you don't just. I mean, you never built your radio tower, but that's in the menus and that sort of stuff. It's just there. You don't have to go and win it.
It's available to build through the normal course of play.
But there's no timelines against.
But it's locked.
Yeah, it's locked and it's got no build time against it.
Well, yeah, this thing is, but if it was in the build thing, if it was in the build menu, you
what
could
if it
build
can be
it.
upgraded later on? That's why it's in the build menu.
So anyway,
either way, if that thing is put into bounty, that's going to be an issue because that's gonna hurt players that don't want to participate in bounty or can't for that weekend or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just it unbalances too much.
Well, it's going to come down to, are you willing to have a PvP shipyard? Because that's what it is, Defender Conqueror only, which would 100% alleviate your main shipyard to build raid stuff. Because that could as well be renamed as the raid shipyard, right? Or the chore shipyard, the other one. But if you totally don't defend your base and you don't do PvP, you can ignore that. But if not, if you want to have conqueror fleets and whatnot, even to do some TLCs.
I was going to say that's the thing. You've got to do some PvP because some of the TLCs that you want the kit have got conquerors.
Then you want that, and then if let's say that's in bounty, but it's worth 1 bounty just to get you in. And okay, you're going to get in, but that means you're going to have 3-hour bubbles and you're going to be hit a lot, and a lot of your other stuff will slow down, especially
your sub's building overnight. If you get hit, for me, I'm asleep and that sort of stuff, and I wake up in the morning and I've obviously just lost 6 or 7 hours with a build time.
Yep.
On shipyard. If that happens,
this is right after an OP upgrade.
Yep. I've never had so many things going in my base.
Yeah, it's right after an OP upgrade, so we're building our stuff. We're
building, researching, equipping, upgrading.
Anyway, okay, right, move on. That's it. It's coming soon. When that soon is, I think it would have been this weekend, and now I think it's going to be next weekend.
Now, I hope my tinfoil hat's wrong.
Me too, mate. But we both assume the same thing, and rarely have we both been wrong at the same juncture. So this doesn't exist, by the way, in the update, but it's one that we've brought in, and Ren's highlighted it specifically because a couple of people have actually mentioned it on our page, and that's basically overweight. Now, the example here was Zealous' fleets, because obviously you can bring them up. When the last upgrade came out in OP9, people's fleets all of a sudden charged up for no reason whatsoever and became overweight. When you went out into the sea and you went to hit a target, Rez was an example, your fleet went into combat but instantly blew up and you were damaged. They were dead because the mechanics of the game thought that you'd had a hacked fleet and you couldn't use it, so it killed it off. That's come back again now. So I know they're going to be looking at it.
I got the post with the video posted by a TFC member, I don't remember their name, but thanks for posting that.
Oh, I should
Took
quote
the
that.
video, took the problem to the Kicks folks, and I got a developer there, or just acknowledge, say, hey, yeah, okay, thanks for letting us know. We're on that. It's been passed to QA. That was actually, sorry, that was Raycon actually who said that. And said, okay, it's over to QA. So they're aware and working on it. No idea how long it takes to fix it. But just in the meantime, to be very clear, do not launch fleets over 45,000 tons or whatever the max weight for Dock 13 was. If you launch it, engage it, it's going to blow up and die instantly.
Yeah, and it's a big fix. So you can imagine all the tickets and that sort of stuff. But hey, so some good news and some bad news. I mean, most of it's probably good in a way. You know, there's some great upgrades there. Things we've been wanting for a long time. The missile upgrade, I love that. You know, that sort of stuff. Siege battery, we're gonna have some fun with that one. There is some good stuff there. You know, the building damage buffs are good. I really do like them. I like the new depth charge for the hunter. I think it's excellent. It's got lots of potential, I think, in base use as well. Build time on the hunter is pretty decent, isn't it, to be honest? Quite like that.
The base, yeah. Someone just put in chat, too. They checked switching from Hydro to the Mag 3 is almost a full day. It's 23 hours.
Okay.
I think people who coined honestly should just open a ticket and say, hey, I just coined that build, or just use the token or whatever. Yep. And now you guys, a week later, release this, and that's a slap in the face. I want a token for each ship I equip that.
Yep. That's actually not a bad idea.
Try your luck. I mean, you already have the loss, so try and see what happens.
And I was planning on sending the ticket anyway, because, I mean, crap, Mag... yeah. Mag 3 with Cat 3 and the... Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can see you're happy.
I'm happy. Oh, yeah. Ecstatic.
Thrilled.
Yep.
Well, not bad. We've just hit the hour. Still 100 and... well over 100 people watching, which is nice. Thanks, guys.
Just
thanks for coming out, guys.
Everybody on YouTube chat. After you got your base to OP10, for those of you who already done it, the tokens or whatever, have you been hit?
I have.
I have several times.
I got hit.
Or has OP10 thrown the game off balance?
No, I've been hit a lot more.
I've only been hit twice. I've killed the fleets both times. My bubble pad's a little messed up because I haven't got everything else, you know, sorted. But I don't know if it's the OP10. I think it's more the land tiles and the bigger footprint has kept everybody out. Like I have enough time.
When I say OP10, the outpost doesn't do diddly squat until you put the weapon on it.
Right.
But I mean, the overall having the OP10 resources, turret, power, whatever.
Yeah, it's unbalanced in a little bit.
Do you know the thing I thought actually, and don't forget, obviously the base bubble pad calculators, both of them have been updated and they're working fine. So I adjusted mine. The adjustments for OP10 hasn't thrown it as much as what OP9 did compared to
that's
from
true.
OP8. It has not rebalanced it. I haven't had to put any of my warehouses outside. And I thought I would have to instantly put two out, and I've not had to.
Yeah. By the way, that's a great thing. I mean, I think it's amazing that now we're going to be able to have all the warehouses inside and go back to you only get resources if you beat the base, because that was, and the very, very, very old players will know that was the origin of base hitting. The way base hitting was introduced in the game back in early 2011 was you go hit bases, it's hard to crack, but if you crack, you carry 500%.
Yeah.
At that point, it was either that or leave your fleet on the map mining for half an hour where everybody could hit it, or grind salvages. There were no other sources of resources at all.
There was, I mean, we used to say, you know, I 500% of them. I mean, that was the thing.
It was just warehouse or two warehouses.
500% of them, or I golf course them. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, that's old school though.
OP wasn't really important at that. So, okay, you got the 20% as opposed to 10%, but actually, if you got a couple of warehouses, you were happy.
Yep.
You know?
Oh yeah. And everybody would defend their warehouses because usually it will take 2 hours, 3 hours to fill them up.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I used to do my head in, yeah, and then driving around, especially you know when you had to drive around in the dark days, looking for things as well, which was comical.
Man, 5 minute hits with floating fortresses.
Do you remember driving?
Telling you, yeah.
We went down memory lane, but driving to the other sector, which used to take you an hour to get there.
Yeah. Talking about resources, one concern that I have with the new raid, the upcoming raid, have you seen the cargo capacity of both the Hunter and the Fangtooth?
Tiny, 5.5, isn't it?
You said that last time, and I hadn't noticed it until you said it, and I went and looked, and I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah. You're going to run out of res if you're not careful.
I totally expect to see people having to stop their raids to collect resources to repair the ships.
Especially on the textile raid in 3 months' time. Especially on that one. Yeah, you're going to run out of...
I mean, come on, raid's going to come up. We're still going to be like doing OP10 upgrades and equipment and
Wolves.
Wolves.
And look, the first raid
for hours at a negative resource rate. Like
and I mean,
does it play?
What makes it even worse is in the first raid, because of the way the build times are, people are going to be grabbing them tokens to finish their Fangtooths. So they're going to need even more resources. I mean, yeah, that was a bad thing.
Fangtooths, I don't know. What did we say again?
Fangtooth.
I don't think it collects enough resources to repair itself at the end.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's been a long time to had that problem.
Can I make a point real quick?
Yeah.
So last year, they instituted a rule where your subs have to be 100% to launch. And at the time, that was because subs could be able to do everything for potentially no damage if driven absolutely perfectly. Well, it's not so much the cost to repair, it's the mechanisms by which you could do it are gone. We don't surface anymore, so the targets would have to have evolved to take advantage of that. They have thermal longer than our range, and they have weapons that could see us and hit us underwater, and they're fast. So, and even with this new last raid cycle, like, we're gonna get hit. So if you've made this so much like the other raid cycles where we're seen and they make plays and we can dodge damage, but maybe not all of it, then why is that rule still in existence?
Well, part of it was from the PvP sniping thing. Well, but part of it is from the PvP sniping thing. But even back then, I was pushing. Why not just make it 50% or 25%? Either way, you would have to still be in your base, and it would be a loss in PvP. You can't just go in and zombie. I mean, zombieing doesn't require 100% repair to get rid of on the map or to at least mitigate it. The 100% thing I never understood. It was never explained why it had to be 100%. Anywhere from 10 to 25% will be enough to mitigate PvP sniping.
By the way, the reason it has to be 100% is because someone in power there said so. Because there were discussions about making it less 75 or 50, but somebody said, no, it's going to be 100.
Yeah, that's asinine.
Someone who doesn't play probably or thinks we'll all just coin it maybe. I don't know.
Somebody was probably looking at spreadsheets and data analytics and cash flow.
Yep, 10 to 25%. I bet you there'll be more fleets out on the map. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, there's just tinfoil.
I think we're going to end it there. We've had enough of that for now. Okay. I'll just say, here's looking at you, looking at me, looking at you. Okay.
You got to make a little creepy. That, Mark. Mark's going to make the creeper song.
So
that's a pretty good wrap it up slide, though.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope you've all enjoyed this week's show. Thanks for tuning in right to the end. Great numbers again. For those individuals then that haven't started those TLCs, there'll be videos out. Plenty of the guys will be putting them up on the page, and clearly Andrew's going to be slapping some straight on the TFC website. So go and have a little look, and hopefully you'll be able to get some pretty good tech out of there. There's some good stuff, and if you get the good stuff early on in that random prize pack of those drops, then good luck to you. But if the good stuff's right at the end, make a point of it. Get on the forums. Your words do count.
Let's start a GoFundMe campaign to fund a camera for George, and then we should make many petitions to the British government for access to information to be able to see TSM's faces.
I'm working on something. It won't be me, but there is a plan.
Might be like a voice changer and a scrambler in there. That might be the best they'll give us.
Yeah, pixelated face, like 8-bit resolution, right?
Every now and then, like those you can get at the moment. Anyway, different story. Right. Good night, all.
Anyway, have a good night, everybody.
Take care. Cheers.